you are a West Ham season ticket holder. Are you used to be? Are you still?
I am.
You're not both. Are you both?
I am not.
No, I am. Die hard, yeah.
What age were you going to the football from?
I started going to West Ham like really young. I used to go to like Kids for a Quid games when I was about 5, 6, and then
The classics.
Yeah. But they don't do Kids for a Quid anymore. It's a sad thing.
You might be able to pass still.
Oh, I mean, with this facial hair, yeah, definitely. 5 or 6 years old. Yeah, I've been going since I was a kid, and then in the old stadium, and then I got a season ticket from when we moved stadiums because they were cheaper and more accessible. Yeah.
He did take me to a game the other day. It was took me and it was Tom, the singer in the Blossoms, as well, and it was quite funny because I'm 6'3", Tom's about 6'5", and we're walking either side of Daniel. We look like his.
Very trendy.
Parents taking him
very trendy entourage.
Game at West Ham.
It was pretty funny.
And West Ham won, so lucky charm.
Good luck.
Guy.
The thing I was going to ask about it is that I was thinking about the other day, the way that when you're singing at a football game, it's 50,000 people in a stadium, all in unison, all connected by music. Did you think about that all when you started to get into music? Were you aware of what do you think about that thing at all? And
just one funny dynamically is that like when I go to West Ham games and I'm shouting, I'm chanting, I'm using my voice so differently that like I always lose my voice when I go to West Ham. I always like leave West Ham and I've got like a little bit of a raspy, like kind of like gross voice after.
You're not going to do your football chants in falsetto.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I think do you know what? It's funny. It's like never something conscious early on, but like now we've become more conscious of that, and it's a weird thing. But it's like we've got more into the idea of like chanty. There's something so powerful about having like a song that's used at football to sing someone's name, and I think like we tried to channel that with a couple of the songs on the album, just a bit more of a kind of like.
You love a gang vocal, everyone joining in.
That's the thing. We've
it wasn't like a conscious decision, but like the album it's become a bit of there's a bit of gang vocal on there, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's kind of like on a couple of the songs, and I think those moments are all like very. They are quite Terrace inspired in a way.
You've helped us realise where this came from, this phenomenon. It's Daniel's West Ham life.
Daniel's West Ham life. A documentary coming soon.
The sequel to the sitcom.
Well, don't think that's getting a sequel anytime soon.
You said that this album, it marks the start of Kawala Chapter 1 for real. How clear an idea do you have of what you want Chapter 1 to be, even outside this record, in terms of the trajectory for yourselves in the journey?
Well, I think what we did differently to what a lot of other artists do with their debut album. I mean, a lot of artists use their debut album to kind of talk about themselves, like this is me, this is my story, this is what I want to say to the world, and like we have kind of done that, but what we really wanted to do with our first album is actually give back to the community and all the people who were involved in the album and making the process to make our dream a reality, all the people that get overlooked. That was kind of more important for us than to kind of this kind of self-indulgent piece, which we're totally going to do in album 2. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be
very, 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 very intensely about us. But I think that's exactly it, though. I think like when we set out to do album 1, it was, obviously it's such a big moment for us in our career, and it's like you can only do your first album once. And I think it was more. I think it marks the start of a new age for us and the real first major chapter, because it almost like it's a celebration of what's happened so far, and it kind of like sums up that first period. And album 1 is like basically just like here's us doing our thing that we've always done with the team that have helped us get here, a celebration of that, and then as we move forward it's going to be how we can change and adapt and expand and grow basically.
It's funny that we're talking about this idea of time, because that does feel like one of the motifs in the album that crops up a lot, and this idea of time passing and looking back and looking ahead. How often do you think about the passing of time? How often does that sort of occupy your headspace?
It's kind of been an almost subconscious theme throughout our entire musical career. Like, we've always written songs that not only in like kind of the arrangement and production that feels like, like kind of the passing of time, but also the lyrical content's all about a journey of, like getting from one place to another. But I don't know, I don't know why we do that.
Honestly, it's like it's come really from nowhere, but like I think it's just because like we try and be as basically as positive as we can be. So like the concept of time kind of stems from this like idea of journey and progression, which in turn talks about time subconsciously. And I definitely think, without talking about it too much because it's boring, but like COVID really, like that period of isolation and lockdown really did sum up. Like it really made us think about time in a way that we hadn't before. So it was like
gave us time that we never had.
Exactly, but in itself, the fact that we were suddenly
took time away at the same time though, like because it was taking away the opportunities
Oh,
and
yeah,
things that
like-
would have happened, even though you were given this sort of space.
yeah,
It was
in such a pivotal
back and
period in
forth.
our career, we lost, the momentum, and it took a substantial chunk of time away from that period that would have been progressive. But then also what it did in turn is give us loads of time to actually just step back and go, what do we want from this? What do we want to do? What do we want to be? And I think like that was invaluable because you don't get any time in the music industry. There's non-stop. You're either,
We did 3 shows today.
3 shows today. Like that's more common in a schedule than
Big change from what you've been doing a year ago. to this day.
twiddling my thumbs and playing Call of Duty.
We can't. We're not going to complain about it.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to this. I mean, I think hope is a word that is very reoccurring in a lot of our lyrics, and hope is about looking to the future. It's about so it's kind of so closely tied to the concept of time that I think it just comes quite naturally.
That's the thing, we talk about positivity and looking for hope in it, and you have that line, all this will change but your mind will stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
How old would you say that you feel inside? What's your inner age?
Sometimes I feel like a little old man. But sometimes I'm definitely a child and probably piss off my girlfriend.
Oh, we're definitely I think if you like probably insight into like
Spoon me.
Yeah, no,
I'm trying to sleep.
I think if I thought he was asking me to do that. No, I think
So I'd scratch my back.
I think that seems more old man.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Scratch my back.
It's like an old
Yeah.
married couple.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I think an insight into like our touring experience and all that kind of stuff. I think we're like, if you like looked in for one minute, it's fart jokes and being a bit stupid and quite boyish in our childishness. And
if you look deeper,
we're all
just
getting old.
more of that,
We're all
actually.
getting old and feeling it in every way. No, but I think I think I definitely.
I feel no different than.
Yeah, immature humour, mature feelings.
Album 2 name.
Also, neither of us can fully grow a beard yet, so I don't think we can ever feel entirely.
Maybe by album 2.
Album 3.
No, but the idea, I love the idea,
So-
when you go away, album 3, and you've got a big beard. I like the idea that we go away and just like, they've gone away and they've got like a soul patch or something. Like, that's all we can quite get. Do you know what I mean?
When I was sitting down, and I was listening to this album last night too, it felt like by the time it hit Marathon, that was when the album really found its stride, and I knew that it was working for me. For you as creators, was there a particular moment or a song that you were working on or a point in the process when you realised that there was no danger of fucking this up and you essentially knew that you were on the home straight and that this album was going to be what it needed to be for you?
Honestly, the moment we realised that was literally like 2 weeks before we finished. Like it came together because of the way the process came about this time around. It wasn't that cohesive thing where you go off to the countryside with one producer and you make a record and you come back with this like perfectly cohesive body of 10 songs that just work together. We worked with multiple producers, which I think is still integral to the kind of like sound, and it was arguably the more exciting part about the process for us. But like it meant that we didn't know how cohesively consistent the album would work as a body of work until we got a link through with all these songs, and it was like they've all kind of been delivered now.
Yeah.
What do you think? And it was that moment that we were like, do you know what? This works.
So
And like,
I'm glad you said that it feels that way because it was completely unintentional. Essentially, it was a happy accident, which is something it's something that we wanted to achieve, but it didn't really entirely make sense until it did. And yeah, it's not the most traditional way of going about things, but it worked for us. and I'm glad we did it the way we did.
Also, I do agree with you in terms of like the flow, and the marathon is kind of like, do you know what it is? It's because like we go quite hard with Hold Back the Years, then we go quite pop with the single Searching, and I think it's like you get those contrasts and we kind of hit you pretty hard straight away, and like Marathon is almost like that moment just to go, you're in Kawala land now, settle in, and it's just going to be kind of like smooth sailing. I do feel that, and I think Marathon, it like does provide that kind of like sense of kind of like back to normality with us. Yeah.
One of the other things about this record too, you know, it is something you've done in your music in the past, but it feels like you're doing it more so as playing with characters, whether it be Sailor or Jesse, and then even within the songs that don't have characters in their title, they're very much played with. How often do you feel like the characters that you're using in your songs are fictional, and how often are they very much just taken directly from life?
I think we do that, and it stems from the fact that there's, you know, two frontmen. We both write the songs, we both sing the songs, and in the past, you know, it could be weird. You know, if I have a breakup and we write a song about it, he has to sing about my ex. That's, you know, doesn't feel, it's weird, right? So I think I maybe we kind of create these characters to represent our stories, so it feels like we can talk about our like personal emotions, but it's not incredibly like direct, like do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm making this up as I go along.
No,
No,
it makes sense. No, I think in terms of like the way the way we use characters in the album is like, I think it's probably an ode to, I think like we wanted to be more vulnerable with this. We've never really written about like kind of real life situations like we have on this album. I think in the past it's always been very ambiguous and a bit like kind of like oh, nice words, nice sounds, nice imagery, but no real like direct, like it's always about something, but we've done it in a very obscure way. Yeah. Whereas like this is the first time we've kind of targeted more like being like, okay, now here's an insight into an actual storyline in our lives. And then when we use characters like the character Jesse and Jesse Come On, that's a fictional character but representing a kind of real character, like not
still representing
like
a
real
story.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I think it's probably to do with the vulnerability that it's like with our writing that we've tried to achieve here, basically.
To wrap us up then, what's the biggest thing that you learned about yourselves, do you feel, from making this album?
Tired. All the time. No, biggest thing learned? What's yours?
That I don't know, I feel less self-critical. I think having created this album, I'm quite proud of it, and I think that I am, and we are capable of writing and creating great music. And obviously as an artist, you're always worried about whether you're good enough. I think, you know, finally with this album, I feel like I you know, in some respects I am.
Yeah, and I think like with the album, with the new album, I think it's like, I think it taught me to like relax a bit and enjoy it a bit more. I think like I spent so long being quite like caught up in stressing about what's working, when it's working. It's such a difficult industry to like navigate and maneuver through. It's like, yeah, it's constant self-doubt. I think it's just actually like realizing we're doing it, it's connecting with people, like the reviews came in and they've all been good, like the fans have reacted so well to it. It's just actually going, do you know what? Chill out, enjoy it for what it is, you know. We go on tours, we do music for a living. It's just like, not many people can say that, and one day maybe we won't be doing it anymore, and hopefully we will always be doing it. And whatever the outcome, we need to just enjoy it for what it is, because it is well fun.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Always
Cheers,
a pleasure.
Mate.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.